Can you blow my whistle, baby? Whistle, baby.
Okay, so let's begin. Who was Charles Darwin? Charles Darwin was born on February 12 of 1809. He was an English naturalist, geologist and biologist, best known for his contributions of the science of evolution, or the evolution theory. He established that all living organisms on Earth came from one common ancestor. This means that all living things come from the same ancestor, from the same bacteria or the same animal.
And I'm betting you like girls to give love to
He, in partnership with his friend Alfred Russel Wallace, proposed a scientific theory that the friendship pattern resulted from the natural selection.
There's only one blow and one ride.
But who was Alfred Wallace? Well, he was a British naturalist, explorer, geographer, anthropologist, and biologist. He conceived the theory of evolution through natural selection. Some of his work was published along with some of Charles Darwin's work in 1858. He encouraged Darwin to publish his work and his thinking on the book Origins of Life.
Here we go.
Which scientific expedition was he made, and which were his main observations? His scientific expedition was to the Galapagos Island in Ecuador. This trip had a resounding impact on his creation on the natural selection theory. It was a 5-year voyage for Darwin, and during his visit to the islands, he was able to notice that there were similar characteristics between creatures, but these creatures were perfectly adapted to their different environments.
Show me your perfect.
Among all of these animals, the ones who called more Darwin's attention were the finches, which are now named in his honor. Darwin will later base some of his thoughts supposing that these finches came from the same lineage,
Girl, I'm gonna show you how
which was the book that Darwin wrote.
you just.
So after all of his years of research, he will finally consolidate all of his observations into one single book, The Origin of Species. What is the evolution theory or Darwinism? The evolution theory of Charles Darwin, or what he wanted us to understand, is that every single living organism, as I told you, came from the same ancestor. This means that the bananas came from the same ancestor that we came. A single apple, a single plant came from the same ancestor as a dog or something. But they evolved because of gene modification through years to the ancestor to its offspring. So this was a continued change, and a slow change but continuous, and this is related with natural selection. What natural selection is I'm going to give you an example. For example, you got a family of frogs, and these frogs, the genes are varying from ancestor to the offspring, creating, for example, darker frogs, and some of them will become lighter green frogs, and other ones darker green frogs. So they're okay and everything is fine, but in the environment there is a predator. This predator is finding easily to see or to distinguish the light green frogs from the dark green frogs. So suddenly the light green frogs will disappear because the dark green frogs are surviving more easily because they are not being seen by the predator. So in other words, or more easily explained, natural selection is the survival of the strongest, of the fittest. For example, if you fit better to the environment, if you're a mutation and you adapt to the environment and you can survive best than the other mutation, then you will survive and suddenly the other will die. So the next offspring will acquire the same genes and will be the same as you are. So this specific mutation will keep growing, will keep surviving, and this is what the evolution theory is about.
Whistle, baby.
The Darwin's postulates. So the Darwin's postulates, there are four, and it's like the summarized information about everything I have told you so far. So the first one is the living forms are not static, but they evolve. The species change continuously. Some will originate and others will extinguish. So this is what I was explaining you about the natural selection. Some will evolve, and the ones that better fit will survive, and the others will not. The second one is the evolutionary process is gradual, slow and continuous, without sudden changes or discontinuous break. It's the same is what I was telling you, that the creatures are gradually evolving, slow but safe. I mean, they will not suddenly have long necks from one day to another. No, it's a process that takes thousands of years. And the third one will be similar organisms are related and come from a common ancestor. All living organisms can be tracked back to a unique origin of life. So this means that what I told you, a banana come from the same ancestor we do, a cat came from the same ancestor, an apple do, and we're all connected by the same ancestor. We all came from the same ancestor, but we evolved differently. The genes were trespassing differently. That's why we are different. And the fourth is the natural selection is key in two phases that explain the whole system. The first phase in variability, the appearance of spontaneous modification in individuals. The second phase is selection through survival in the struggle for life. The fittest individuals, the ones that were born with favorable spontaneous modifications to cope with the environment, will have a better chance of survival, reproducing and creating offspring with those advantages. So this is the same as the frog example. So I have explained you this in this whole video, but I just want you to know that there are four postulates of Darwin that synthesize all of this. And this is just to summarize and a conclusion of the video. So thank you very much for watching. My name is Pedro Antonio Rosales Corrales from Group 6. My ID is A01566899 for the subject of Fundamentals of Life with Professor Alfredo Garcia. And this video was about the evolution theory. Thank you very much. Sorry, Group 5.
I bet you I'm guilty, your honor. That's just how we live in my genre. Who in the hell done paved the road wider? There's only one blow and one rider. I'm a damn shame, order more champagne, pull a damn hamstring, tryna put it on ya. Let your lips spin back around, come up. Slow it down, baby, take a look. You blow my whistle, baby, let me know. Girl, I'm gonna show you how to do it, and we start real slow. You just put your lips together and you come real close. Can you blow my whistle, baby, whistle, baby? Here we go. Whistle, baby, whistle, baby. Whistle, baby, whistle, baby. Whistle, baby, whistle, baby. Whistle, baby, whistle, baby. It's like everywhere I go, my whistle ready to blow. Shawty don't even know she can get in it for the low. Told me she not a pro, it's okay, it's under control. Show me soprano, cause girl you can handle. Baby with stars, so then you come up in park clothes. Girl I'm new, so man, my Bugatti the same nose. Show me your perfect pitch, you got it, my banjo. Talented with your lips like you blew out a candle. So I'm using, know you can make it whistle with the music. Hope you ain't got no issues, you can do it. Even if it no bitch, you never lose it. Can you blow my whistle, baby, let me know. Girl, I'm gonna show you how to do it, and we start real slow. You just put your lips together and you come real close. Can you blow my whistle, baby, here we go. Whistle, baby, whistle, baby. Whistle, baby, whistle, baby. don't stop it. Cause